Dark mode is not just a preference for me, it's an accessibility need. I use a lot of assistive technology and a lot of accessibility settings, especially on my phone. On Android, there is a dark mode and a lot of apps have a dark mode. However, a lot of apps don't have a dark mode. There's also some apps that do have a dark mode, but you would never know because it doesn't automatically switch it. For the record, it should do that automatically. For me, and I know a lot of other people, white backgrounds are just way too bright. They cause a lot of glare and can cause eye fatigue, eye pain, eye strain. It's very uncomfortable. It feels a little bit like staring straight at the sun. On Android, there is a way to force dark mode. It can be helpful, but it can also make things worse. Let's talk about how to turn it on and what I mean by making it better and worse at the same time. Welcome to another cat video or quick accessibility tips. This is Carrie on Accessibility, where we talk about tech and accessibility. Let's just dive right in. Here I am on my Pixel. It's going to be very similar on other devices. First, you want to go to settings. I have my Pixel 8 Pro here, but it can be pretty much any Android phone. You want to make sure that developer options is enabled, and you can do so by going to About Phone, which is the second to last option for me, and then you go to build number, which is the last option, and then you tap that 7 times or double tap 7 times in quick succession. Then it will announce that developer options are on. For me, if I do that now, I'm already a developer, so it won't do anything. Once developer options are on, you can go back and go to System, scroll down, then go into developer options. I would highly recommend playing at this at your own risk, and probably if you're uncomfortable with breaking something on your phone, maybe don't play with it. You can scroll all the way through this list, but for me, I don't have time for that, so I just go to the top and I tap on search. And then I write force. There's an option called override force dark, and you want to go there. It will scroll through the page and take you to that option, and then it will say override force dark. Overrides the force dark feature to be always on. So I'm gonna turn that toggle on, and then now if you launch an app that has a light theme and you want it to be in dark theme, it should work. It doesn't always. It depends on how the app is coded. For example, I'm going to open Amazon. It loads. Now it has white text on a dark background, and all the images are they just look like regular images. That doesn't really solve all the overlapping text and truncated text and all that. We're not gonna even go into that right now, but it does put it in dark mode. This feels great until you look at the bottom, at the top tabs, and you notice that these tabs are now, a lot of them, have a black icon on a dark background. And I can't see those. So there's a lot of areas where it doesn't convert to dark mode very well, and you're going to have contrast issues, severe contrast issues like these. This I can't see. I will probably just navigate by muscle memory, honestly. Let's take a look at Uber Eats. Funny thing is, if you go through the Uber app and then you go to the Eats tab, if you're in dark mode, it will have a dark mode. But if you go to the separate Uber Eats app and you tap on that, it's usually in light mode. And it should have converted it to dark mode since we have the forced dark mode, but it doesn't have that. Another example is Be My Eyes. They haven't yet developed a native dark mode for Android. So if you have forced dark mode, now the app is in dark mode, which can be really helpful until you go to service directory, and the forced dark mode can't force the service directory to be in dark mode. Be My AI can be forced into dark mode though. You can even go to the chat and everything is in dark mode. I was playing with the forced dark mode and had it on, went to YouTube, everything looks fine, and then I go to the edit field and start typing hello. And now I'm gonna zoom in. Now there's so little contrast in the actual text. I thought that YouTube came out with an update and I was about to make a whole big fuss and make a video about it, but no, it was just forced dark mode kind of breaking this functionality of the YouTube app. So those are just some examples of where forced dark mode can be helpful and also make things worse all at the same time. This is absolutely something you can turn on, you can play with. It's going to have to be your choice whether you want to keep this on or not. For me, I find it more headache having it on than just leaving it off and using color inversion, especially because it just lowers the contrast so much for me, and I need contrast. Even though I like dark mode, I still like plenty of contrast. I really think that dark mode should just be a feature that's on all apps, or somehow with the design, any design can be turned into light mode or dark mode, and that Android or iOS has access to that to force a dark mode even if you don't develop it. Maybe I'm asking for too much and maybe it's impossible, but that is what I wish for. There's also a way to turn on force dark mode on Chrome using the Chrome flags, which are updates to Chrome that they're working on but haven't released, and that has its own issues as well. I do have a browser extension that I actually really enjoy. It's called Dark Reader, and I use that with Chrome. I highly recommend it. It actually does a pretty good job. Yes, there are still moments where contrast is still negatively impacted, but it actually works most of the time. Plus, you can adjust each site on its own. So what would have been cool is if you can do that on Android and you can say, okay, this app, I would like you to be forced dark. This app, no, please don't go forced dark. And things like that. They also have other filters, so if one filter doesn't work, you could try another one. You can adjust brightness and contrast and even sepia, and I think it's a great app. Maybe I'll talk about it in another video if you guys are interested. Unfortunately, it's not available on mobile, or at least on my Android, which makes me really sad. I wish it was. That's pretty much it for this one. If you want to support my work and what I do here, consider becoming a YouTube channel member or Patreon member. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up below. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.